everyone, Tony the filter expert here for AquaFresh Filters. Today we're looking at the WF283 from the AquaFresh Green Series. These eco-friendly filters feature a filter media made from coconut shells, which are a renewable and sustainable resource grown all over the world. Plus, carbon made from coconut shells is considered superior to carbon from other sources because it produces a better quality water. And with prices significantly lower than OEM filters, you can feel good about using an eco-friendly product while saving money. The WF283 is comparable to a number of external refrigerator filters on the market, those that have quarter-inch quick connect fittings on both ends. For example, the OmniFilter R200, the Daewoo DD7098, and the Culligan IC100. Now, of course, every AquaFresh filter is independently tested using NSF standard 42 protocols, which means you can count on it to reduce chlorine and sediment and give you great tasting water and ice. Now, with the WF283, installation may be unique because of your circumstances, but let me show you a couple of really common scenarios. In order to demonstrate the installation of an external inline filter, we've exposed the back of this fridge so we can see the feed water line. This water line feeds the water and ice in your refrigerator, and this is typically the most convenient place to install an external inline filter. Now, though the location of where the water line attaches to the back of your refrigerator may vary, the water line itself is almost always, universally, a 1/4 inch outside diameter, either plastic or copper tube. The initial installation procedure for any inline external filter is really quite simple. But before we get started, you should have a few things nearby. Make sure you have a bucket and a towel, because eventually you're going to cut this water line, and when you do, it's inevitably going to drip water everywhere and make a mess, so you need to be ready for that. Now, if you're dealing with plastic tubing, then you need to have a tubing cutter. Now, admittedly, it is possible to cut this plastic water line without a tubing cutter, but trust me when I tell you it is 1,000 times easier when you use the right tool for the job, and this is the right way to do it. Now, if you're dealing with copper water line, then you need a metal or copper tubing cutter like this. I'll demonstrate both methods in a moment here. But now that you've got those things nearby, you need to follow this water line back to its origin and turn off the shutoff valve to stop flow to this line. Now, hopefully whoever installed it did put in a shutoff valve. If not, you may need to shut off water flow to the entire home. One way or another, you need to shut off the water flow to this line that feeds into the back of your refrigerator. Now that you've turned off the water flow, come back here and it's time to cut the water line. So let me demonstrate how to do this with both plastic tubing and copper tubing. Okay, here's a piece of 1/4 inch plastic water line, and here's our tubing cutter. It's really easy. Open the tubing cutter, insert the tubing, and cut. Now that's a clean cut. Okay, so here we have a 1/4 inch copper tubing and a copper tubing cutter. Simply attach the copper tubing cutter, tighten it down, and rotate around the copper pipe repeatedly. Okay, now that we've done the hard part, it's time for the easy part, attaching the water lines to the quick connect fittings on the filter itself. Now first, we need to verify the proper direction of water flow through the filter. And with filters like this, there's almost always an arrow or other indicator. So check that, and once you know which direction the water should flow through the filter, simply attach the appropriate water line to each end of the filter. Watch how easy this is. Simply insert in and insert in. And that's it. Now I've got an inline external filter attached to the water lines that feed into the back of my refrigerator, and I'll have great tasting water and ice from my refrigerator. Now, this last step is optional, and it involves these mounting clips. You see, you might leave this filter simply back here on the floor behind the refrigerator, and that would be fine. Or you could use these mounting brackets and attach them to the wall behind your refrigerator and then simply snap your filter into those brackets for a nice, tidy installation.